popping and dropping, she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow. She poppin' and droppin', she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow. Test me, why you wanna test me? So sexy, come on in. Messy, wet up like a jet ski. Work it out and ride it like a 10-speed. My little baby takes the pain away. My little baby takes the stress away. Never leave them when it's a rainy day. Hit her with that move, I bet I make her sing. She poppin' and droppin', she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow. She poppin' and droppin', she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow, work it out. I pull up, put it down. I see you through the crowd. Leave your friends coming now. She poppin' and droppin', she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow. She poppin' and droppin', she rockin' top, it's no stopping. Got me deep in my pockets, I'm about to give her my wallet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wow.
What's going on? What's going on, guys? I appreciate you for being here. You already know where you are at. Get this off the screen. We don't need it no more because we in here. Appreciate it. You are now live in the den. This is a Thought and Talk podcast with Aaron EBM. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. you know how this goes. Mine been all right. Mine has not been too bad, man. It has started to cool down outside. You know, if you know me and if you've been around for a while, you have known that I've been running for a while, and it's just been hot. It's been too hot to really run. So I haven't. I usually run either early in the morning on the weekends or late at night, like 10, 11, 12 at night to kind of get away from the heat. But now that it's beginning to be fall, you know, I'm so glad because I can get out there and run anytime after work. Hell, in this time of year, by the time you get off of work, it's already nighttime. So, you know, that's a plus too. The sun is already down, but now it's, you know, now it's cool. It's not bad. You know, it's not bad to get out, not bad to get out and run, you know, not being a sweltering heat. So that's a good thing. I'm not going to try to keep you too long tonight, but we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. I want to try to barbecue before it gets too late, but we'll see how it is. Hey, what you say down here, man? You know I can't see. So you must be in the country. Hey, man. In the Midwest, man, it was like 80, 85, 80, 85 or so yesterday, and it at 30 plus degree drop outside. So in one day, it went from being 80 in the 80s to like 60 in the 60s, not even 70. So man, it's something else. It is something else, man. Tonight, man, we're going to talk about the rise of the free thinkers, you know, in here in the space and in the world, man. You know, if you've been paying attention to politics, I hope you are paying attention to politics, even if you're not, you know, politically literate. There's no sense to not know how the process goes and to know what's going on. It's been too long, especially men in the urban community and the black community. It's been too long for us just doing what the women tell us to do, doing what Big Mama told us to do, doing what the women tell us to do, and most of the time is voting Democrat. Now, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but be frank and be real here. The only reason 99% of black males vote Democrat is because somebody in their family told them to vote that way. More than likely, it was a motherly figure, and we just been ingrained to do so. So, but the rise of free thinkers, the rise of people, you know, men coming to really find their own, having the voice in independent media, which is also a great thing. Support independent media. If you got your favorite content creator, big or small, support them. Make sure that the message they are giving to the world, you know, can get out, you know, and they have the means to do so. So support, you know, support. Um, yes. It's a fairly new thing. I wouldn't say it's 100% new, but men have been talking in these spaces for a while now, and it's finally beginning to break to the mainstream media. You know, people are beginning to realize to take men seriously. You know, and the more we do so, the more they'll be able to take us seriously. You know, and it's no more. It's time out for giving votes free. It's time out for being willfully ignorant. It's time out for all of this stuff. Hey, who is that down there? Who is that down there? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. You know what? I'm going to cam up just for you. How you doing, Sugar Bum? I appreciate you being to the channel. I don't know if you've been here before, but I'm glad that you came by because you could have been doing anything, but you decided to be here with me. So I appreciate it. Let's see. Talk to you for you're a free thinker and you get shamed for it. Tell me about it. How do you get shamed for it? How do you get shamed for it, Sugar Bum? Because most time I see you trolling. You're trolling most of the time, you know, and I get it. You know, I get it because I'm a troll. I'm a troll myself, so I understand. I get it. You know, I understand what you're doing. You know, it's not. It's all fun and it's all fun and games. We understand. It's no big deal. You know, it's no big deal at all. So I'd like to hear about it. You know, but women, look, it's a difference between women and men. You know, women have been speaking their mind for a long time, you know, speaking their mind and being able to do it freely. It's just been recently where men could be able to do that. And for the most part, you know, we can, you know, I said we still have to walk on eggshells. You know, you have what's his name? What's the Tate guy name, man? I wasn't big into it. Was it Andrew Tate? You know, was starting to speak what he thought of being, being free speech and being in a world to where he could have free speech, and you've seen what happened to him. So men really have to kind of walk on eggshells when it comes to speaking and so on and so forth. So, but we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. But as much as men are doing now, they need to keep up the pace. They don't need to give up. Don't give up the stride and continue to do what they're doing. Otherwise, we'll be back in this same space we were always at. Most men, not all. Most men, not all. I understand. I understand. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because the Stacey Abrams uproar in the South. If you don't know who Stacey Abrams is, you should know. And I think it was a senator. I'm not in Georgia, so I didn't really pay attention to what seat it was, but either the Senate or governor. I can't remember, but I seen recently that. See if I can pull this up and share it. That Roland Martin was talking about Stacey Abrams. Make sure I share that before I go on. Stacey Abrams, and it was a lot to say, and it was interesting. So let me go ahead and share that.
Talk about the
All right, we're going to go over this.
midterm elections coming up. I want to turn to Georgia, which is on everyone's minds because less than 2 months out from the midterms, and at the center of the conversation among many Black men. That rarely happens, and I want to center Black men today. Right now, we could be looking at a split ticket. Senator Raphael Warnock is leading in his race against Herschel Walker, but Stacey Abrams is behind Governor Kemp. Now, Abrams says if Black men vote for her, she'll win. But the math ain't really math in there. And I know Roland has a lot of thoughts about that. I want to bring into the conversation Cliff Albright. He's the co-founder of Black Voters Matter Fund, and Terrence Woodbury. He's a Democratic pollster and CEO and founding partner of Hit Strategies. Cliff, I do want to start with you since you're on ground there in Georgia. We'll get to the debate between Walker and Warnock in a second. But just being on ground there, Cliff, what do you make of that? Like, are Black men large in number enough to decide this race for Stacey Abrams? Or is this just a headline that's, more yellow journalism and sensationalism than truth?
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany. Great to be here with you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Black males, Black men voters make up enough of a block where we can be a part of what the difference is. And we got to keep in mind we're talking about a state where in the presidential election in 20, the difference was famously those 11,700 votes that Trump was trying to find someplace. So in a situation like that, yeah, Black men as a voting bloc can be a big part of the equation. And, whether or not they come out, we come out, Black men in Georgia come out and support Stacey at the same rate that Black women do is a legitimate question. Now certainly Black men aren't going to bear the brunt of what happens in this election on their own, no more than Black women should bear the brunt of it. Some white folks get up.
All right, AR. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Vote for her. Vote for her. Why exactly? What does exactly are men going to receive? And that's the big question I'm talking about tonight. What do men have to receive from voting for just to stay for voting Democrat? What do you receive anymore for voting Democrat? If you pay attention, you really pay attention. What do you receive for voting this way? All you do is make sure that you appease the women around you. From what I've seen, I don't see you getting anything. There's nothing for you to gain. But we're going to get into it.
The wake up and actually do the right thing in the state if they wanted to move forward. But I think that it is smart to raise this issue because at the end of the day, and we hate to admit it, but there is some number of Black men that will just refuse to vote. It's the sexism, it's the patriarchy that just refuse to vote for a woman, whether that woman is Stacey Abrams or whether it was Hillary Clinton in 16. And that's an issue that we have to address. Again, that's not the majority of us. It's not a plurality of us, but we have to address that, and we have to be willing to call that out and call it what it is.
Yeah.
Let us show you how we run a successful business using stock
We ain't
footage.
listening to no
Go
ads. But why is playing?
I
Listen,
hear
there is no.
unlimited
They bring up
downloads,
everything now.
lifetime
You know,
use,
and they're
annual
scared. Now,
license that
then I'm gonna
covers
continue to say
everything.
this. You know,
I
there's
hear
nothing that I agree.
money.
Don't agree with a lot
Today,
of
one
different.
video
You know,
per
with
project
everything a
is
lot of different
definitely
creators
not
say.
enough.
But if you
Everyone
pay
wants
attention,
fast, affordable,
they're shaking.
high-quality
They're
content.
scared. That's why they're
Off grid.
saying this.
We
It's the
can do that and
patriarchy.
stay on
You know,
budget.
black men just don't want
Looking
women
good.
to
For
run
only
for office, and all of
$299
this
a
is,
year,
and
we
et
get
cetera, et
access to
cetera.
all this
But it's not.
amazing footage.
That's
You know,
only
men are getting
$25
tired.
a
Men are
month.
getting
We
tired
are
of fed
literally
the same
making
excuse
more
to just
money
do what
by
we
working
say
less.
and then
So
fall
go to
behind.
offgrid.io.
Yeah. Well, Terrence, you're on ground doing work, doing polling there. And so I think Cliff raises a really good point, which I want to dig into. But Terrence, I want to ask you just for the math part, because I don't know that it's fair to lay this at the feet of black men and say, yeah, you guys cost us the election, because black men overwhelmingly vote Democratic. And so as a pollster, I'm curious your take on this conversation around black male voters in Georgia.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tiffany. You know, the truth is that
And that's something y'all got to look out for too. I'm gonna pause it real quick. There's something you got to look out for too. They're setting up the building blocks for when she loses, because I believe she's not going to win this race. When she loses, they're going to blame this on black men. You know, black men aren't standing up. Black men aren't doing this. Black men aren't doing that. Although you see that the black male vote is increasingly going more and more red, or more and more to the right. The votes are there. They're just not in the way they want you to vote. So they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to pull out the shaming. They're going to go to the news outlet, and say we don't know what we're doing, and continue to vote. You know, for with us, for us, and it's going to be something. I just want you guys to watch out.
the Democratic support gap between men and women is not unique to black voters. There's a gender gap amongst all voters where men are more likely to vote conservative. Now, when you look at the math here, Stacey Abrams lost in 2018 by 55,000 votes. Had black men voted for Stacey Abrams at the same rate as black women, she would have had 120,000 more votes. So there is math there. The challenge is that since 2018, Republicans have doubled down on their efforts, coordinated and expensive investments targeting black men, targeting men of color. And in 2020, we saw Donald Trump double his margins amongst black men in Georgia, a difference of 370,000 votes. The gap between black men and black women was the difference of 370,000 votes in Georgia. And so we do have to close that.
Fair use, by the way. I didn't say fair use. This is fair use. We're using this content to use it transformatively to make entertaining content, as well as inform the public of what's going on. So I appreciate you guys being here. Bells, what's going on? Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the show. Today, we're just going to talk about the rise of free-thinking men in America, in particular, black men, free-thinking black men, and what we can do while we get this momentum. So let's get back into it.
That gap. And while that is not unique to black men, and we see that gap amongst all men of color, the difference with black men is that they were Democratic voters. These were Obama voters. And some would argue that they were only Obama voters. They were never, in fact, Democratic voters. And that is where Democrats have work to do to prove that since 2020, they have made progress on the issues that matter most to black men, and that they have a plan for black men moving forward.
All right. So Cliff mentioned Hillary Clinton. Terrence talked about Obama. We have to take this thing back a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why am I wearing this shirt? It's my alpha shirt. First of all, we vote, but here's why. Black men are the second most loyal voting bloc of the Democratic Party. Who's number one? Black women. Mm-hmm. So let's just be real clear who black men are voting for. In 2012, there was a 9-point gap between black men and black women, Obama-Romney. So people try to make this out to be about totally sexism. That's not true. There were two men running and black men. Black men were not happy with Obama.
Did y'all see the wordplay when he said it's not totally about sexism? See, if you pay attention, man, this is something I learned. If you pay attention and let people talk long enough, they'll tell on themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with sexism. And if it did have, let's just humor them. If it did have something to do with sexism, they're the ones that play the role. They're the ones that start with the patriarchy, and men are doing this and men are doing that, and they play off that to feed women, to get them angry about it. Men are pretty easygoing creatures, which is why they were able to get over on us in such a manner that they did for the last 50 years, because we're so easygoing. But now I'm telling you, more people are waking up. More people are not going to just do what Big Mama tell us to do, what Auntie's telling us to do, what Mama's telling us to do, and to think for ourselves and vote in our own interest. Regardless of what they're going to call you. They're going to call you, hyper individualist. They're going to call you everything and anything out of the book. Traitors, and how can you vote for the racist and all this stuff, or with racists. But I'm telling you this, I am in mid Missouri, so I understand. That's something I had to actually wrestle with myself when, thinking about, the things that I wanted to vote for, which was best in my interest, which, taking care of my family, making sure, we don't get taxed to death, making sure that the things that I want passed in my state, best benefit me. And to think that other people that vote or want to vote in the same direction that I would like to vote in might not necessarily like me. And that's something that that they've been able to play on us for years and years, which is why most African Americans are loyal to the Democratic side, because they play this thing about race, and they play this thing about wanting you to be scared of the big bad boogeyman. And excuse me, if you be with us, we'll give you the protection. But there is a such thing as liberal racism. You see Joe Biden tell all the black people of America that they weren't black if they didn't vote for him. So if that wasn't a racist statement, I don't know what actually is. How can someone tell you that your whole being, who you are, what you are, is predicated on whether you vote for him or not? These are the things that they don't really want you to pay attention to. Now, people pay attention to it, but they let it slide under the radar, under the cover. And these are things I want you to pay attention to, because it's not any different. You need to vote the way you need to vote. I want people to get out and vote, period. Don't get out and just say, I thought about what Killer Mike said about staying at home and not voting, and, knitting and making collard greens if they didn't give you what you wanted to give you. But if you do not go out and put something down, your vote does not get counted. You are a non-factor. If you get out, make sure that you put your name on there. Make sure you put whatever you want to put on there. If you're not feeling either candidate, that vote is counted, and they know that they lost you as a voter. This is what they're not telling you. They don't care if you stay at home or not. They're not going to cry if you don't come out and vote for them. Like I said, you're a non-factor to them. But I want you guys to pay attention. Like I was saying before, there are people that's different, that view things different in their lives, that will, vote for you regardless. They're and that's the game they play. Is it people that look like me, people that call themselves FBA, ADOS, black Americans. Is your life impacted by the people that might not like you, or is it impacted by the way your community is set up? Is it impacted by the way women are running the community? Is it impacted by the men not being able to see their kids like they want to see their kids, or be an impact, or be a role model on kids' life, or have to worry about going in streets at night because the places that they live in are so laxed on crime that they're scared to go at night, scared to go out at night. Now, I ask you, are you more scared of the homie down the street breaking into your house or robbing you, or are you more scared about the Ku Klux Klan burning a cross in your yard? These are the things I want you to think about, because if you're real with yourself, you'll think you know which one you'll think. Let's keep it going.
They felt he should have done more because on the issue of economics, on criminal justice, and things along those lines. And so what then happens? You go to 16, now it's a 13-point gap. You go to 20, now it expands. But here's a race people ignore, and Terrence knows this as well. Tom Tillis, the architect of voter suppression in North Carolina, was getting around 18% as well. Why? Because Democrats were ignoring that constituency. Black women also organized and mobilized to force the Democratic Party to pay more attention to them. In many cases, black men within the party have not actually done that. So what you're seeing are black men who are saying, you're not paying attention to me. You're ignoring what's happening when it comes to economics. You're ignoring me when it comes to the critical issues. And so what the Democratic Party has not done is create a specific strategy to target those individuals, because it comes down to numbers. Warnock beat Kelly Loeffler by less than 100,000 votes. And so you're the Democratic Party and you're just ignoring these numbers. what Terrence just say. You are ignoring the potential to win. You should be trying to get every vote. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it out here because someone has to say it. The fundamental problem with the Democratic Party is that white strategists are controlling the money, are controlling the strategy.
Yeah.
Yes, African Americans are having input, but if you're trying to win, you better listen to Black people. You better fund these initiatives. Otherwise, you're going to lose. And that gap is going to widen.
And fund candidates. Instead of meddling around in Republican elections, trying to put one over the other because you think they're easier to beat. Fund candidates.
But also off-year strategies.
Right.
You can't come talk to Black men in the middle of September. The election is November. And I called it. They should have been doing this in January after Biden got inaugurated to build up a program so when elections come, now you properly prep.
And invest in Black media, brother. We know that.
Black-owned media, not Black-targeted.
Black-owned media.
Absolutely.
That's about the only thing I agree with them on this discussion right now. You do need to support your Black-owned media. You do need to support all your independent media, you know, whether they're Black or white. But, you know, if you are in the sector or if you're in this side of YouTube, more than likely they will be an African-American host. So you need to support them, whether you agree with everything they say or not. You know, they are coming out here giving their time to you, making sure that you have information. And, you know, some of it's good, some of it's just for fun. But like I said, I wanted tonight to be a little bit of information on the free thinking man, the rise of free thinkers. It's coming. You see it, and they're going to try to snuff it out. They're already trying to snuff it out. I just want you guys to know. But hey, they're going to come, and all you got to do is this. Keep it going. Keep it going. You got to fight. You got to fight. You can't give it up. You know, that's the thing about the men in the community. Sometimes things get hard, and then we say forget it, let it roll, let the cards fall, and let the dice roll as they may, and then we'll just figure out what happens then. But you can't do that. You know, we got too much invested. We got too much time in it, and we got too many things to lose. So let your presence be known. Keep up the pressure.
Cliff, listen, I think Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, you know, a lot of Black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by Black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that ignored, but you ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting Black.
There that goes. That's that emotion. That's that emotion-based thing, and that works because we talk about women being more emotional, you know, being emotional thinkers because they are the nurturers. They happen to do more of the emotional thing. So that's the first thing they play on is the race thing. You know, you're oppressed. That's the first thing they tell you. You're oppressed, right?
Nope.
You're oppressed, so they want you to feel like you are oppressed. And then since you are a victim and you are oppressed, you know, what's the point of going over to the oppressor, which is in this case, not Democratic, but the Republican Party. So if you are oppressed, why would you be going over there to the oppressor when we all know, if you've been thinking and you've been seeing and paying attention, you all know that there's no difference, you know, of the men and women in one party than another. You know, they are liberal racists. There is liberal racism. You know, that's racism with a cherry on top. That's racism being nice. You know, that people are people. You know, sometimes they're crappy people and sometimes they're good people. You can't label a whole side one or the other, but we are so easily manipulated that they can say things like you're oppressed and going with the pressure and shame you into not wanting to, you know, think for yourself. This has been going on for a long time, and I'm glad men are paying attention to it, and I'm glad men aren't caring or turning their backs on this jump because it's going to get us nowhere. You know.
Men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get.
There it is, right there. Hold on.
Please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line. Sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting Black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth.
So there it is right there. There it is right there. Tariq Nasheed. Now I know Tariq Nasheed's been around doing his thing, you know, for a long time. And Kevin, he was in there for several years before it got there. Why was Kevin? I understand Tariq Nasheed. because he is heavy in the political sector, getting people to understand not to just give your vote to people just because you're going to give your vote to people and hope that they give you something after they get your vote, and making sure they work for your vote. So I do understand that. But why Kevin? That was the thing that threw me off. Why Kevin? Because Kevin, he did not speak um a lot about politics, but he did speak a lot about men standing up, grabbing themselves by the nuts, and going out and being a man, and voting, and not just doing what a woman tells you. Take up your mantle as a man and going forward and doing what you want to do. See, this is why they bring up Kevin Samuels. They don't want you to be a man. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to go about life and do what they say, fall in line, because they are the PhDs, they are the ones with their liberal arts and basket weaving degrees, and they know more than you know. So of course they want you to sit back and enjoy the show and let them reap the benefits of you voting the way they want you to vote.
And see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your.
See, this is it right here. Why the identity politics thing is being played? Why strap yourself or your identity to the party? Why strap your identity? In this case, you're being black. Why are you pasting being black onto the Democratic Party? Like the Democratic Party is some sort of relative that you're related to that they don't want you to turn your back on. This is textbook manipulations.
Your people, I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and you've got three things that wind up happening. And first, let me shout out, as Roland mentioned, his Alpha Phi Alpha shirt. We've got a program where we reach out to Divine Nine, and API has been one of the organizations that was most aggressive at getting involved, like answering the call and reaching out to Black men to mobilize voters back in 20 and 21, and we expect to do the same this year. But to your question, you see two or three different possible responses when you've got this issue about Black men and to what extent we feel ignored, and to what extent the candidates in the party are addressing our issues. One is that we just stay home, right, which is what you were kind of talking about. The other is that we actually come out and we vote for the opponent who we know isn't doing us any good, right? In this case, that would be voting for Kemp. But there's this other option, and that's what some of these polls are getting at, is that you see some that are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come out and vote for Warnock, but in that gubernatorial race, oh, I'm not really feeling the Abrams or Kemp, right? And some of them will be honest. I've been in conversations with men, and some of it is faith-based. I've been in conversations with brothers that say, I just don't think a woman should be governor, right? I don't think a Black woman should be governor. I don't think they were meant to be. I have had that conversation. But then you also get this other conversation from somebody who's like, oh, I don't know what it is about, it's just something, and they won't just come out and say what the issue is. So I think part of this is on the candidates to address our issues. And Stacey Abrams has a piece of her platform that specifically speaks to issues that Black men care about. Roland mentioned a couple of them. And we care about economic stability, entrepreneurialism, all that. We care about police violence. So she has that in her agenda, but part of this isn't, we have to be honest, isn't going to be about her and her efforts and her policy to address our issues. There's a conversation that we've got to have.
All right, y'all seen it for yourself, man. Y'all seen it for yourself, and a lot of things. A lot of things that I've seen, and a lot of what I've saw and I've kind of deducted for myself is that a lot of us in this community, or whatever you want to call it, don't feel like they matter. Whatever happens, and then we complain about it later. That's hard. That's a horrible way to think. That's a horrible road to travel. And that's just not a very conducive thing, or conducive way to go about living your life. You do matter. You are just as much of a part of this nation as anybody else is, and you guys need to stand up and live in that, and really relish in the fact that you are, regardless of how bad things get, regardless of how bad you think your life is right now. This is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, countries in the world to be in. It's not a lot of countries that we get to get up here and do what we're doing right now. Even though a lot of us feel censored sometimes, we got to walk on eggshells, or kind of hold our tongues on the way we say things. There's not a lot of countries that will allow you to get up here and say what you want to say in the manner in which we say it. So you have to think we could be anywhere. We could be in any third world country, but we were blessed to live here. You know, the odds of us even being on this planet are big, you know, are astronomical. And to be born into, you know, regardless of the slavery, the past slavery situations in the past that hardships that our forefathers been through, we are in one of the greatest countries in the world where we can make a difference, where you can get up and get it out of the mud and become a millionaire, where you can get up and make your dreams come true if you fight for it. You know, if you have the ability and then you have the will to fight for it, you can do almost anything you want to do on this planet. And there's not a lot of places that will give you the opportunity to do that. And that's what I want people to take advantage of. I want people to take advantage of the fact that you are in the top percent of the world, you know, in wealth. You might not have everything you want. You might not be at the place that you want to be today. You might be, you know, struggling at this very moment. But I want you guys to think that you might not be where you want to be, but you're not where you were yesterday. You're not where you were 3 years from now. You're not, or 3 years ago. You're not where you were at a month ago. You were, as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you keep pressing, as long as you keep with a positive outlook and a hardworking spirit, you can do almost anything you want to do. You know, and let me see. Talked about a few things, you know, about men changing laws, and honestly, because this goes with the topic, about people like Kendra G and other, you know, divester type people telling you that, you know, that what have men gave, or what have men changed, or what laws, like we talked before about Martin Luther King changed. No one man or woman has changed any laws. There have been no laws that have been changed without capital, with extensive amount of capital and lobbyists, or without a huge or majority of the people of this United States wanting said law to pass. Now, if it's a state law, you're going to need the majority of the people in the state to make it pass. And if it's enough people to get behind you, you can make that happen. You know, that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can make that happen. You know, no one man has changed one law or a law. You know, and Martin Luther King didn't get the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed by itself. It was a lot of people that went to jail with him, and there's a lot of people that got hit with billy clubs. There's a lot of people that got dogs sicked on them. You know, it wasn't just him that helped get the Voters' Right Act passed in 1965. It wasn't by itself, and it won't be by yourself. It's going to continue to, you won't be able to do it by yourself. You're going to have to continue to get the support of the men. You're going to have to continue to believe, to fight for what you believe in. Now, this is something I want you guys to understand too. Three laws and 3 amendments were passed that we benefit from in this country. The 13th, one of the most important, was to give our emancipation. 1865, to no longer allow people, private citizens, to own black people as slaves, unless you were put back into, or you were duly convicted and put back into jail, which is debatable, right? 13th Amendment. 14th Amendment. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens in the United States. Layman's terms, this country cannot pass laws that will knowingly impact, or knowingly, what did the lady say right there? Knowingly oppress you or put you in a situation that others do not have to get put through. That's another 14th Amendment. Now, the 15th Amendment, and also a very important amendment. It granted African American men the right to vote. Passed in 1869. So those three amendments passed to the United States Constitution. What more laws? What laws do men and women really need? But we're talking about men right here. So I want you guys, when you guys are having these conversations, you're getting mad about, you know, anti-black, you know, hate crimes and all this stuff like that, and you're getting upset and saying you need hate crime passed, like like the Asian hate crime bills passed, when you're getting upset about that, with the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and 15th Amendment passed, what other laws do you need changed that won't just come up periodically in the state that you live in? What laws do we need changed as men? What laws that they can change will impact you? They had the Civil Rights Bill that was passed in 1965 that made, that affirmative action and stuff came into. And we all know that women, black and white, really benefited from that more than black men did. They got that. Okay. Oh, well, it's done. What do we really need passed? The only thing that I could think about being passed that impacts men, no matter what race they are, no matter what creed or religion they're from, is the what is it? Child support laws, family court laws. That is the only law. That is the only thing that I see that right now that impacts men unfairly from one side of the country to the next side of the country. And the only way, guys, I need you to hear this if you hear this tonight, or whether you hear this some way down the line and down the road when we're in different places in life. If you want family law and child support laws to change, you guys are going to have to stand up. Not just black men by themselves, not just white men. Men are going to have to lock arms in solidarity and let this country know that the laws need to be changed and for to be favorable. And if the man is there willing to stand up and be a father to his child, then there should be nothing standing in his way besides going to the court and showing them that you're here and you're ready to stand up for you to have the rights just like the mother does. You shouldn't have to fight an uphill battle if you are competent, if you have employment, if you don't have any drug history, if you don't have anything on your side that will make you a suspect parent, then there should be no reason that you are automatically put on child support just because you have a penis. Okay, what'd you say, Bells? Any laws that pass for black people always benefit that, and that's usually the way. That's usually the way it goes. If it's not written for a certain person or people, it's not. You're never going to get to benefit from that. But what have you heard? What have you heard them say? Kamala Harris, Dr. Stacey Abrams. Well, I said she's a certain state, so I won't pick on her too much. But Kamala Harris came out and basically said that she will not pass any law that directly benefits any one race. And with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, you have to pay attention to what I said with the 14th Amendment in particular. Can you really pass a law, not a bill, but actually a law that only impacts you or only lets you benefit from it? See, most hate crime bills are bills that work, I say, reactively. Something has to happen to you. Okay, we're going to punish that person exponentially for doing that thing to you. There isn't too many. It would be very difficult to pass a law that just benefits one person when you have those amendments changed, because that amendment affects you as an American. It doesn't affect you and impact you as a black American, a white American, a Hispanic American, and it impacts you as an American. That's more how these things get passed. You have to look at it as an American and not a specific protected individual or group. You say it's true. However, some men don't even want responsibility. So going to take the man who, why do, wait a minute, who do to stand up for themselves and demand change? Let me say, so it's going to take the men. Yeah. They do have to stand up and make the change. The men who don't want anything to do with the kid, and that's the thing too. Men don't have any reproductive rights, the baby's here. It takes two to tango till the tango's made. Tango's made, men loses all rights. If the man doesn't want, if he asked the woman to have to terminate and she doesn't want to terminate, if that man doesn't want it, should that be on the man to take child support anymore? Or should it be the men who are actually with women who take care of the child and then they split up? See, these are things that need to get revised in family court. And if you just sit there and take it, you're never going to get anything changed. Nothing is ever going to happen. Sorry about that. What else is going on in world news? Let's see if I got anything on Hope Giselle. No, we don't need that. Sorry about that. Thought I had something else. I do. Hold on. Here. All right, I seen this morning too. This morning that Ebola's broke out again.
African nation. According to the World Health Organization, an Ebola outbreak has been declared in Uganda. Health officials have found a dozen cases of the viral infection. Also,
Hey, O'Shea Dude Jackson.
Get to the chopper!
That's his hanging ground. I think he's in Uganda a lot, man. So y'all make sure y'all send y'all prayers up for O'Shea, man. Make sure he's all right, because I think that's it. He likes to travel over there and do his thing. So
known as Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Several deaths have been attributed to the outbreak. Ebola is spread through contact with bodily fluids. It can take several days for symptoms to appear. The disease causes both internal and external bleeding and is often fatal.
Almost doesn't need to be said. Ebola is a very, very deadly illness.
There is no approved vaccine for Ebola yet. One researcher told reporters last year,
the Sudan Ebola virus that we're also targeting here is also a very deadly form of Ebola. The fatality rate from these kind of viruses ranges from somewhere between 20 to 90%.
Unfortunately for those in Uganda, the Sudan strain was the one identified in this most recent outbreak. Now authorities in Uganda are working to trace the source of the infection and isolate those who may have been infected in the hopes of containing this outbreak before it spreads more widely. This is Inside Edition Digital.
hey, man, yeah, I mean, it's like we can't catch a break, man. You know, and I said this when Ebola broke out last time, that I don't understand why people aren't more afraid of Ebola than, the C19 and the booty pox and all the rest of that stuff. Why are they not, it's like a 50-50 mortality rate with that Ebola virus. So, man, you guys watch out. If you guys travel, if you go to places outside the country and in the country, man, make sure that y'all wash y'all hands, man. That's something else I said about the pandemic of 2019 and 2020 and on. That it's common sense, man. People, sicknesses, flu went down, sickness rates went down, because I believe that because people were washing their hands and being cleaner than they ever were in their entire lives, and therefore they're not spreading germs as easy as they did before they started doing that. So practice them safe habits. Make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you come out the bathroom, wash your hands. You go outside, you touch a doorknob, go wash your hands. Don't just come in and eat a burger after you then came in and grabbed your car handle and your doorknob and all that stuff, man. Think about what you're doing, man. Don't be nasty. Stop being nasty. What else is going on, or did I see that was going on? Say that Iranian, that might be a good one. Go to that tonight. See what Bell's real quick. You said Tiffany Haddish is free and clear. She says she's broke now. That's unfortunate. You think she went broke from that stuff happening, or do you think she went broke, or was she already broke? That's something, man. We see people on TV and we automatically think they're rich, as soon as we see them on TV, man. But people and athletes are living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying? They're not living like we think they're living. They don't have it going like we think we have it, man. A lot of them is just living the lifestyles of the rich and famous and live, just barely making it, house poor, as they say. You say it all, you scared of it all. Man, don't be scared. Wash your hands. You be all right. Wash your hands. Stay out of people's faces. Let me see. Right there. I don't need that right there. So that's what I'm saying. That's what, in all, let me stop sharing this. No, I don't need to stop sharing. I can just do this right here. So that's what I'm saying. You guys need to realize that, especially men, free thinking is scary. Free thinking creates more competition. It creates more opposition. The women in the community do not like this because for the last, not 30 years, I say the last 50 to 60 years, they haven't had to deal with men free thinking. They only had to do with men, doing what they say or reaping, suffering the consequences of not listening to them. But this is different. Things are changing. You have new generations coming. You got the Gen Zs coming up. They're not listening. They don't care. They're going to do what they want to do. And that's also a problem. Free thinkers are a problem no matter where you are. Free thinkers are a problem everywhere. Free thinkers create disruption in senseless buying habits and senseless buying chains. Free thinkers make it, are the ones that realize that this just spending money, willy-nilly isn't the thing to do. Saving money and making sure you have money for investments is the thing to do. Making sure that you do what you want to do and not what the masses tell you to do is also dangerous. So you're always going to get opposition. You're going to get people telling you that that's not what you need to do. People are going to continue to tell you, excuse me, that you don't need to rock the boat. People are going to tell you all kind of crazy stuff that the women are the ones that are smart and you just need to sit back and listen to them. That's what you need to do. You need to laugh at them and say, that it is what it is. You can do what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do what I need to do in what's in my family's best interest. If you have families, that's the most important thing. You can't be worried about whether you're going to get shunned by the community. You can't be worried about whatever somebody's going to think and say about you, because at the end of the day, they're not going to pay their bills. At the end of the day, they're not going to be the ones paying your mortgage. They're not going to be the ones paying your taxes, insurance, any of that. So you got to be the ones to step up to that. Stay strong. Do what you need to do, and continue to move forward. Hold on, what AR say? Tiffany never been funny. I agree with you right there. She ain't never been funny to me either.
Oh, hell no. Okay.
That's what I think. I don't think she ever been funny, man. I think she been over what do they call it? Overly sexualized content, and a lot of, keep it real, a lot of women, female comedians do that. They rely on the overly sexual content to keep people reeled in, to keep people focused on what they're doing, and then in the content's not all that good. The content's really not there. Not to me anyway. That's my opinion. Yep. All she talked about was like, eating chicken and talking about laying up with white dudes. That's pretty much what it was. Pretty much what it was. But I don't know. Maybe it'll change. Maybe she will get some more content, or she'll do better, work harder on her stand up. I don't know. I hope she thinks about it, because I ain't, I don't know, man. I try not to. I don't follow her too much, man, but I hope she does. I hope she does something different. Aries been Aries, man. Aries been Aries. I ain't paid attention to Aries from Mad TV. I ain't paid attention to him. I ain't gonna lie. So when I see Aries Spears pop up, it's always something super negative to make sure that he stays relevant. You say, Belle, she tries too hard. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it through people. I don't know. That's why, man. That's why even doing this YouTube stuff, I don't go out and just try to do a whole bunch of stuff other people are doing, because it's one thing to use people's formula, but then it's another thing to try to do something that's not really going to make that's not really you or authentic, and you can kind of see that in her stand up, in her the way she acts. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, yeah. CAR, you hit it on the head, man. She does need to stop trying to be hard to be ghetto. It's okay to be different. That's the part of being a free thinker. It's okay to be different. It's okay if if you what you say doesn't really align with what's going on in the community. It's okay if your jokes and your personality doesn't resonate with the masses of the sisterhood or the brothers in the community. Go where you're celebrated and appreciated. You don't have to put on some show to appease the rest of the group. And people appreciate. That's like Dave Chappelle. Some people like Dave Chappelle. Some people love Dave Chappelle. But Dave Chappelle, even though he, I think, both parents, strong, what they call strong black parents. I think his raised up in a Muslim household, and they are very strict and stringent and on his manners and mannerisms. So when you speak more eloquently and you do things that doesn't really line up with the majority of the group, they kind of look at you like you're the strange one. And he continued. He was himself. He continued to be himself, and he got where he was because he continued to be who he was, regardless. Aries. Now, man, man, look, Aries was funny back in the day, back in the early 2000s, 90s, early 2000s. Aries Spears was cool. I don't know what happened to Aries, man. What'd you say, Aries? Get to the chopper! Aries makes your skin crawl. Man, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Bells. Man, Bells look like Bells. Aries look like that man. That man that drive that big Astro van. That big Astro van in the hood with the 12-inch subwoofers in the back. That's what Aries look like, man. Got them that sugar daddy look to him. I don't know, guys, man. I'm just rambling now, man. I just needed to get on and tell you guys that for voting season crept up on everybody, and then you really didn't know, man. It's okay to be a free thinker. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be who you are. Men all over the country are beginning to stand up to this giant woman ran conglomerate. And it takes men to stand together just like they stand in solidarity, just like the sisterhood stands in solidarity, and know that everybody has their own back. As long as they ain't with nonsense, you should be able to support each other. We don't all have to agree on every single thing, but it's going to take us to continue to stand up and do what we need to do. And it's going to take for us to continue to stand up and have the tenacity to make things happen. Continue to be a free thinker. You know what I'm saying? All the free thinkers in the world pay attention to them. All the free thinkers in the world are the men that are millionaires, are the men that thought or that other people thought couldn't make happen what they made happen. And the rest is this history. Look at the men who people laughed at them. I say Bill Gates, I think the owner, the maker of the Super Soaker, a black man. Nobody would think these people would be able to do what they did and make the millions that they made, but they went outside the box. They stepped outside the box and made things happen in ways they didn't think people thought they would make them happen or would make happen. The rest is history, guys. Man, continue to do what you got to do. Men continue to be free thinkers. Don't let any of these women tell you, or the men that could support these women no matter what they do. Don't let them tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You are a man. You were put here with a purpose. You were put here with the purpose to do and lead in the manner in which you needed to lead. And nobody can take that away from you as long as you stand in it. And it's been about an hour, It's been about an hour, good quick hour, man. I appreciate the people who came by, everybody who came by and chilled out with me for a little bit. I hope you Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate it. Continue to be good. Let me turn my patriotic music on. Make sure that you continue to be good Americans. Make sure that you take care of each other. Make sure that you love each other. And make sure that you always take care of your offspring. Okay, people, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming by the Thought and Talk podcast. Until next time, everybody. Peace.